Play them on, Eric.
There we go.
Yeah.
Chad, what episode is this, Chad? For Christ's sake, start the fucking episode.
Episode number 165, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very special guest this morning, or this afternoon.
This morning,
Depending on where you're listening to it.
midnight, Monday night.
Tuesday morning.
Morning to me.
Very cool. Good to have you, son. How are you?
Nice to be here. Doing all right. A little tired. I did the Austin there and back last night, but doing all right.
So every Tuesday at the Continental Club in Austin, Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Well, luckily you don't live far away.
Yeah, it's only, 2.5 hours.
How was it?
Yeah, we had a good time. It was fun playing after McMurtry. So,
yeah.
the crowd there, and that's always a good time.
Gee, I wish I could do one.
Yeah, I think you are. Next Tuesday, I think.
I am Tuesday, exactly.
I texted some drummer. I thought it was you.
It was me.
Yeah, for those who don't know, so Sir Luba, as he's known in the Houston music community, is not only a god of country, but he's also mixing, just the ultimate in sound man. He's one of our absolute favorites, and we so much so that we drug him along when we opened up for 38 Special. And my favorite story is we weren't at the board at that time, but friends of ours were at the board and saw the look on the guys at the Arena Theater when they saw you operate the board. They were just like, fuck it. They all just kind of walk away. They go, this guy knows what he's doing. Whereas the whole crew from 38 Special spent day and night and just trying to get every single channel. They had to put something on every channel and double it. And it was just a night. So it was just, not only made it sound good, but you also made us look really good that night as well as many others.
Fun gig for sure.
So when did you realize? We'll get to your music thing, but when did you realize that you were so gifted in the ways of audio engineering?
It's kind of cut my teeth in New York City. I started out. I moved over there and to do music, and then the money I had saved up when I moved there went pretty quickly. I needed to get a job, so a friend of mine, Larry Oakes, was a production manager at a place called the Hero Ballroom, and he needed a lighting guy. So I started. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can do lights. You just kind of turn them on and off. I think, right? No big deal." So I learned a lot in that venue. Basically, built my own lighting system there. Got them to buy whatever we needed, and started doing that. Became one of the on-call guys in lights in New York, and then kind of got burnt out on it. I don't know, just kind of needed a switch, and moved into doing sound. And but I'd always been kind of messing with sound at my own shows and doing home recordings and stuff like that. So I kind of had some good teachers, and I kind of knew what was going on. So that's kind of where I got into it, and then spent a good 10 years or so doing that stuff up there. So that's where the schooling came from.
Cool.
No one's going to jump on the fact that Luba started out as a lighting designer and he said he got burnt out on it. Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really no follow up after that. We should just end it right here.
That's it.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for watching, guys.
So where did you move to New York City? Where were you from?
I grew up in Vancouver, Canada. I was born in Czechoslovakia, which it was back when I was born, in Brno, and then we basically escaped the Iron Curtain in the middle of the night, straight up. Just took what belongings we had that would look like we were going on vacation. And the story was, I'm going a little further back than answer that question, but you had to kind of my parents had to prove themselves that they could take the kids on vacation because, they could go to Western Europe, to Austria where their friends were, but, they wouldn't permit me and my brother to go with them so that they wouldn't escape. So it was pretty hardcore stuff. And then once they proved themselves a few times, we got to go and take the kids, and we went down to what was Yugoslavia, which is now Croatia, went to the sea. And we had these stamps in the passports that didn't allow you to cross any other borders, which my dad erased somehow. I remember him sitting on a table on the beach and erasing out stamps. And then we crossed over the Alps, Austrian Alps, into Austria in the middle of the night and claimed refugee status. And my dad wanted to end up in Vancouver. He had friends there. He loved the nature. He loved the fishing and all that kind of stuff. And so year and a half in Austria, so I started first grade, and then we moved to Vancouver, and I was 8, I think, when we got to Canada, and then I grew up there and started. My dad was a musician, so I started fooling around, and I started playing in bands and bars when I was 15 years old, and then we were doing some serious touring with a band called Terror of Tiny Town that I was in back then, across the States and in Europe, and went over to Japan once. And then that kind of broke up when I went off on my own, started writing my own songs, doing my own bands, and needed to get out because, there was quite a big music scene in Vancouver in the 80s and the early 90s. And then, like everywhere else, when grunge came along, it kind of changed the whole scene because in Vancouver, it was a big sort of rock town. I mean, Bruce Fairbairn and Bob Rock were working out of there, making all the Aerosmith, Bon Jovi, Metallica, Motley Crue, all that stuff was being done up there. And then the whole industry changed and moved, just left. All the labels left Vancouver. The bar started to close down. And so we'd come off the road and there was kind of like nothing to do. So, and I've been in New York a few times and it was like, that is the place. I almost went to Chicago for a minute, had some offers from friends, but then I was like, if I'm going to go, it's go big or go home. Right. So, that's kind of how that went down. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, what a great story. So yeah, you've got a lot of empathy for our friends in Ukraine right now. You've got
man.
Just
that's just
heartbreaking.
It's just, there's no words. I have no words.
Yeah.
This could turn ugly really quickly if I started talking about that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing. It's just devastating. It's just. But so New York was obviously good to you.
Oh yeah, I mean it was. It was kind of like making it like, and then you kind of get a sense of, well, what is that when you're really in the business, and then when you're in it seriously, you kind of figure it out as you go. And I was sharing stages and hanging out with some of the best musicians in the world, and being schooled, pretty hard. It was like there was a bar that was in that town, and you needed to be as good as everybody else. So there was, a lot of learning going on. My whole musical growing up and education was done running around New York City, playing with different people and just kind of cutting my teeth on that stuff. So, it was good. Like I always say, there's two reasons you would live in New York, and it's either for the money, that you're making there in whatever world you're working in, or you're doing it to experience it. And I was there for about 15 years, and I ran that town pretty hard. Like I know it like the back of my hand, and I did everything that you could possibly do. Some stuff I can't even mention.
Yeah, you can.
But
yeah, you can.
It was, and then I got, the wall started closing in. I mean, the city changed to, I got there in early 2000s, 2005, and it was cool for about the first 5, 6, 7 years, and then things started to change when CBGBs and a lot of those clubs started to close. It was because they had 30-year leases that had now run out, and the rents quadrupled. The leases quadrupled, so there was no way they could sustain that, and just the whole town kind of changed. It became a lot of Starbucks and banks on the corners and Dwayne Reed's and stuff like that, and all the venues moved to Brooklyn. And then I lived in Brooklyn before it became hipster town. I lived in Bushwick, and then the rents went up, and it kind of got the grit started to get washed out a bit, and so I kind of started looking for a move. Just, I don't know. I'm kind of a gypsy, I like, let's just move it along. All right, I've done it. Okay, that's enough. Let's find something else. And I've been coming down here to play and hang out. And it was kind of like, Nashville was maybe a thing. Upstate New York was kind of chill. That could have been cool. And but in Nashville, it's like, oh, everybody's a musician, and you're in a town full of musicians, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I like it there. Just kind of, you're constantly competing with somebody, and I don't really compete. It's like, we're all we're all in it together. You know, I don't
Yeah.
need to be the top of the top or whatever and have that shit sort of hanging in the background. Anyway, so Houston always seemed like a cool town, you know. So kind of set up camp here and been here
How long have you been here?
I think
Sorry,
4
Jeff.
years or so. 2017 I got down here, so whatever that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, it feels like it's been longer than that. It's crazy. But what was your first connection with Houston? How did you meet somebody from here?
I knew of Pete Gordon at the club through my friend Roscoe, Eric Ambell up in New York, and
Okay.
Keith Christopher, bass player of mine, friend of mine. And I'd, you know, sort of come down and hang out and, you know, bop around town. So that was kind of the intro to it, you know, and it was kind of like, you know, home base. You know, Eric, you know, said go see Pete at the Continental, and you know he might give you a job doing sound. So that's what I did, and then
Wow.
I was home base, and it still is home base, sort of. Yeah,
Yeah.
Literally, I look at it from my patio.
Once again, Pete Gordon making things happen.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy's unstoppable, and it's such a small world when you start talking music, especially in this town. The tributaries, the streams, the rivers, everything goes and everything comes back. It's so strange.
Yeah, that's sort of nationwide. You know, it's the whole country. It's kind of connected. It's a pretty small scene. You know, through my friend Brian Karp, who plays bass with me up in New York. We were out in LA during NAMM, and we needed a drummer. We were doing the gig, so his buddy Dave Stark jumped on the gig, and then you know, and he's great friends with Eric. So it's, you know, and he's a Berkeley professor, and then, you know, he lives in Florida, and it's all kind of, you know, and Eric Ambell's in New York. Like it's all kind of connected, you know, and that's sort of what, you know, getting back to the whole making it vibe. It's kind of like once you realize you're in that world and in that network, then man, that's it. You've made it. You know, you can't have any delusions of grandeur in this business. You know, I mean, you're just kidding yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And Eric, how many times have you played with Dr. Luba here?
I've done one or two gigs with the Ramble, and me and Luba played a couple times with Callow when she comes to town. And he started doing this kind of mini residency in Austin, so he called me for a couple. I'm doing the 12th and the 26th, I believe. So
yeah,
it's gonna be fun. Looking forward to it. And the guy that we met at the Celtic Ray down in Florida that came on Sunday, that's Dave Stark. That's the guy that Luba played with, and who I've known for too many years to mention currently. So, and he just texted me today, so I'll tell him you said hey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yep.
Wow.
It really, like Luba says, it's true. It's like the world that we live in is shockingly small. Like there's at least maybe 4 degrees of separation amongst people, as you just mentioned, between Eric Ambell and Pete. You know, and of course Pete's range is very, very wide in this business. But it really, people think that it's like this kind of elitist thing that's huge. It's really small, and especially folks that are at our level are just way more hip and way more cool than a lot of folks even can imagine.
I couldn't agree more. And Luba, you'll agree with us too. We've mentioned too. I know your answer, but Houston has some of the best players in the country. You know, since you're as well traveled as any musician I know, and you would agree. The
absolutely.
Level?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's sort of a hidden secret. I think, you know, everybody's like, "Why Houston? Why didn't you go to Austin?" And I just don't say it because I'm like, "Don't come down here." You know, no, but it's absolutely. I mean, there's something in the dirt. You know, there's such a rich musical history in this town that I keep finding out about. You know, every week it's like, oh, that guy too. You know, it's just there's so many. That it's you know, back in the day, I mean, it was a major stop, and a lot of dudes would hang out here and do some serious shit. There's a funny story. So Bart, who owns Rock and Robin, was telling me a story one time. They were back in the 70s. There was a school being torn down on the east side, and it seemed like it was a pretty poor school, but music school. And these guys would go and get all the stuff out of the dumpsters, and then he would say, well, come by my shop before you go to the dump, right? And he pulled out like 4 50s tellies, right? That are just completely, what's the word? I would say destroyed, but they're just in such condition that they were just made to work. Like they would screw 2 bass strings on one of them and use it as a bass, right? Like they're just unrecognizable. You know what they are, but they're like black with dirt, right? And then he was telling me that one time they pulled up with a truckload full of wax cylinders, right? Which was the thing you'd record onto before we started recording onto reel-to-reel tape.
Whoa.
And he was just, mind you, this is in the 70s. So he's like, well, I don't want any of this stuff because I don't even have a way to play it. I don't even, can't be bothered. But now he was telling me, like, who knows what was on that stuff? Like, it could have been Robert Johnson on that shit. Yeah, I mean, he was hanging around,
Yeah.
I recently, maybe 3 years ago, actually realized that those recordings were done in San Antonio. Robert Johnson, in the hotel room. I always thought it was down in Mississippi or somewhere,
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot in the dirt here for sure.
Yeah, that's so. What's your latest record? We were listening to some on your channel. What's your latest record out right now?
It's called American Sin. We put that out in August of 2019. We recorded it up in New York with the New York band, and we were doing a pretty big radio push and trying to get it, get something going with it. And then, the plague happened and that all got shut down. So there's blah, 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 that kind of petered out. But yeah, pretty proud of that one. It's very sort of Houston influenced. I recorded it up there, but I was already living down here and writing most of it down here. So it's very kind of honky tonk and Gary Stewart-ish.
I'm so impressed with your sound because we are collectively sick and tired of don't want to hear another fucking overly produced, glossy, shitty fucking play on word bullshit. Fucking stab me in the fucking eardrum. Fucking
tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice.
No, I hear you.
Just we're you really only have to just sneeze into a Buc-ee's and you'll catch that fucking shit that's just so bad, and it's such a breath of fresh air to listen to your music because you're not patronizing, you're not being tongue in cheek, it's heart and it's soul and it's fucking it's the country that I can that I can't live without. I was going to say I can.
Well, I mean, thank you. That was the whole point. I'd always been interested in that kind of sound, and anything that's radio-ish, and especially now as things have gone just so ruined sonically that there's no feel or depth in any of that stuff. I recorded it. I record all my records live in the studio, off the floor, vocals, all of it. There's, might be a mandolin overdub here or solo overdub there, but everything is the same people in the same room at the same time. We recorded that record in one day and we tracked 14 songs.
Jesus.
The band was like, we walked in, I was like, so we're going to do 14 songs. We're going to do, 9 for the record that I wrote. And then we're going to sit down and do this in a circle and do an acoustic kind of EP called American Wino, which is, some favorite covers that we were kind of playing live.
Wow.
And they were like, there's no way. I'm like, come on, man, let's do the math. How long is a show, right? 14 songs is, that's maybe an hour and 20 minutes, maybe, right? So it's like we play them 3 times each, easy, we got all night. So we did it.
That's fantastic.
But it was about capturing the vibe of the people, the musicians playing together in the same room, and that's always been important to me.
That makes so much sense.
But you also got to write the right songs for that, which is the harder part of all that.
Okay. So you had God, how much planning went into that? Like, for you, as
not
far as like,
much. I mean, I kind of some of the stuff we'd been playing live already, so they kind of knew it, and then I would demo them down here, and then send the demos to them.
okay,
And then when we went in, while we were setting up, I just put on Gary Stewart and was like, "This is what I'm aiming for. This vibe, right?"
nice.
And we have such a long history of playing together that it's like mind reading at that point, so it went down pretty quickly. So not a lot of, it's about having the right people, the right songs, and the right feeling in the room, and the right room. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
For me to get it right. And then, but also they always tell you don't produce your own records, but I produced that record and I mixed it. I also mixed it 3 times all the way through till I got it right.
Wow, that's impressive.
But, yeah.
I noticed that. I was listening to American Sin this morning while I was having my coffee, and it was funny because we just had Mark Riddell. I mean, to what Patrick was just talking about, the country music we can't stand. We're talking about that with Mark, like trying to break down like what's gone wrong in the country music industry, and I started listening to American Sin this morning, and it's just every song is just so satisfying. Like every one, I'm just like, yes. And now hearing the way you recorded it, it just completely makes sense. It's just so in the pocket of so many different pockets.
I mean, those guys blow me away too. Like, on I think it was the solo I think it was Brooklyn Twang, the song where it switches from the steel to the guitar, and that's no editing. There's no nothing. Those guys just fucking did it that way. I was like, what the fuck? You guys are fucking insane. Like, didn't even bat an eye. Like, they just looked at each other across the room. Okay, you take it. And then it was like, right.
Wow.
So, and that just kind of, that vibe perpetuates the mood in the room. It's like, okay, we're doing some shit.
Yeah. Are these the same guys that came down and played the Twang Fest?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and they'll be down again this year.
Oh, fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a quick. So, anybody living or dead, who would you want to record one of your songs, and just off the top of your head, who would you want to record your song, and what song?
God damn.
I know. I should have warned you.
I mean, living or dead?
Anybody.
Gary Stewart doing Single Scoop, Single Lady I would be done. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I've reached the pinnacle.
Yeah.
I'm simple man to please. Yeah. There's, a bunch more, but for sure that would be, but then again, anybody, any song, as long as I get the money. Okay. That's also what you realize, like, as you get older and you're in this bullshit of a business for so long enough. It's an addiction, honestly. I can't stop doing it. It's just something I have to do. But you realize, like, to me, there's no such thing as selling out. We do this for a living, and it's a business. You need to put some heart and soul and feeling and honesty into it. Mm-hmm. But like, if Chevy wants to fucking have somebody record one of my songs, I'm like, yeah, you can fully buy it, for the right amount of money. I can write another one, So anybody, anywhere, if you're listening, all songs are for sale.
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. The sellout thing is when you're in a punk rock band and you decide then one moment, then you're going to go contact Chevy about this riff that and again, I have no problem with that as long as you're not, if it feels right to you and you're not betraying what you your own, then go for it. You're fucking live it. And I have to ask another question too. We have to every week here on SlapperCast, on sunny old SlapperCast, we kill a song. We take a song from history, any artist, anywhere, over time, and kill it. The only thing is, it never comes back. You never get to hear it again. So choose wisely, my friend. And if you want a minute, that's fine too. We need one song from you. We're going to kill it today.
Shit. There's so many.
No, I like everything. We should just keep everything out. Everything's great.
I don't know.
I can maybe guide you and just say Paul McCartney or.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
first one that came to my mind was the Paul McCartney Christmas song.
We did that last week.
Okay.
Very, yes.
Right.
Small world, gents. Small world.
Let me think on this for a minute.
Okay.
Let's go back to it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back. Chad, do you have one ready?
No, I just remember it.
Oh,
I had one,
Eric,
I
you have
forgot
one?
it.
Eric's got one.
Did we do Under the Bridge yet by the Red Hot
That's
Chili
a good
Peppers?
fucking song, man. To kill.
We
Totally.
were out the other day, and some, I
Totally.
think the new Chili Peppers song came on. I was just like, oh, what is this crap?
Yeah.
And just so Under the Bridge downtown is where we killed that song. I think it should be my pick for the week.
That's exceptional. Exceptional work, ECH. Chad, you got one now. I know you do.
God damn it! I should have prepared for this.
Yeah, well, it's not like we do it every week.
I know.
I mean,
That's
I
unusual.
would maybe go with also the hey, what's going on, Linda Perry.
Yeah, nice one. Nice one.
Very unnecessary.
Yes.
You know.
Wow. I heard one, and I can't remember the name, but I know that you guys will know who it is. It was the 90s, and it was a guy, kind of frosted hair, and I'm afraid to recall that I have to kill this song in particular, but I'm afraid to.
Everclear, you talking about?
No, Everclear. No, close to it though.
Okay.
I'll clear any of there.
A lot of the 90s stuff was pretty shitty.
Yeah, Mark. He was in a band. God damn it! But I have to kill this song this week, and I just lost the name now that I was flexing. Sugar Ray. What was that song? Thank you, Eric C. Hughes.
I can't remember. I
All
know what
of
you're
them.
talking about, though. Yeah.
Da 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 da.
The Halo song. There's a hanging from my four-post bed. Whatever that
That's
song
what
is
I was
called.
just thinking. Yeah.
Mark McGrath is the guy's name.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's
But
my.
I can't think. Let me look at that.
That's
song.
good. That's good. That's all I need. That's dead. Woo.
Patrick, what was the name of that song that we had to do for the wedding?
Oh my God! The father and
No, the most recent crap song we had to learn. This was like
Oh yeah.
where what's her face sang it.
The song was called "Sack of Shit," and the I know which one you're talking, and my mind will refuse it.
You're Mine or something. Yeah, You're Mine. That one.
Still don't know it. My mind has blocked it out so badly that I think I've even lost 2 inches in
Okay.
height.
Okay, well, I have another one. I'm kind of stealing this from Pat Finnerty, the guy on YouTube I was telling you about recently. Hey Soul Sister by Train. Anybody know that song?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know it.
Fucking awful.
It sounds awful.
I've heard it. I didn't know what they were called. I didn't know the name of the band was Train until I was watching this video about it recently. I was like, oh yeah, fuck that song.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time.
That was everywhere for a minute.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That's kind of
That's-
obvious.
you know what? That fucking song started the whole ukulele movement.
That's right.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
fuck that song even harder. How do we fuck that song harder?
That's the song.
There's this guy on YouTube I discovered recently named Pat Finnerty, and he's really good at poking fun at songs that are terrible like that, and he goes into depth to ridiculous extents to try to show how ridiculous that song is, including the whole ukulele thing.
Wow.
Speaking of podcasts, it's called? It's just a funny story. We were driving back from Austin yesterday, and I put this on. It was called, what the fuck is it called? Disgraceland. You guys know that podcast?
No.
Like Graceland, but Disgraceland.
Uh-huh.
I just clicked on it because the title said something like John Denver and the JFK assassination, right? And apparently, so it goes on. And I'm like, what? This is fucking crazy. So apparently, John Denver was like a MK Ultra agent, right? And a super sniper before he became the singer. And apparently he was the actual shooter on the overpass, and it got all whitewashed and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes into in-depth detail and he blocked it out of his head, and he had these flashbacks. He couldn't explain what it was and blah, blah, blah. And then I realized it was the fucking April Fool's Day episode.
Ooh, nice.
That's good.
I was like, no way, I'm gonna have to research this. He's like, just remember, this is all satire. Happy April Fool's Day.
Did they get a chance? Did they get a chance to tie in the plane crash and how mysterious that was? Was that part of the whole thing?
Totally. Well, the plane crash was because he'd finally remembered what he had done and committed suicide. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
well
cool.
they should.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Although it was parody, but we'll take it.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's heavy, man. Especially if you're under the influence too. You'd be, oh my God.
Exactly.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So what's next? What's next in the recording? Are you going to be doing another record, or are you going to be taking the singles route?
No, I'm doing another record. I don't believe in the singles route for some reason. I don't know. It seems weird to me. A lot of people are doing it, but I don't know. I like the bookend of a record. To me, it's a whole. It's a piece. It's like a book, So I'm getting ready to do it. I've got a bunch of songs sort of in my head, and a couple that are written. Pretty much, the paint's dry. It's definitely in the works. I'm gonna have to set some time aside and really write it because I want to get it out. Definitely before the summer's over. Pretty quick.
Are you going to record it in Houston, or are you going to go back up to New York?
No, we're gonna do it here. As of right now, the record's called Houston.
Oh, cool!
And
I really love it.
It's got that, with Roberto Rodriguez on accordion and that southern kind of vibe. It's going to be kind of Texas Tornadoes-ish, Joe Ely-ish kind of, with the Brooklyn twang spin on it. And the plan is I think I'm just going to set up everybody in the club for a couple of days when we're closed, and we're just hang it out there. We've got the gear, so I think that's the plan.
That's great. That's a great idea.
Cool.
What's your website? What's the best way people can find you?
If you go brooklyntwang.com, that'll take you there. It'll redirect to lubadvorak.com. That's the web stuff, and then just my name on all the socials and stuff. I'm not really active on there, but yeah, you can find me, or just Google me. That's the best way.
Yeah.
Don't look at the images though.
Unless you're over 18 and you got a strong stomach, ladies.
Safe for work.
Yeah. So with recording in Houston and Houston, are you going to bring your guys down from New York? You're going to?
No, I'm going to use the band here.
Good. And what's your regular gig? Are you still doing the Cowboy Surfer during the week?
Yeah, we do Cowboy Surfer every Monday. And then we do first Thursdays at the Big Top, and then the Continental on Tuesdays. And the Monday Tuesday run right now is quite a thing,
Yeah,
cool.
Physically, and then working at the club. So yeah, it's definitely plate is full kind of a deal. So, but yeah, I like to, come find me. Where I'm Monday every night, Cowboy Surfer in Houston every Tuesday in Austin.
Yeah, that's and also just if you need anything musically related, anything to bang on, anything to strum on, anything to throw, you go see Luba at Rock and Robin.
That's right.
Our greatest institute, right? Isn't it the oldest music shop now?
It's got to be now, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, 50 years now this year.
God.
Family owned. I think it's the last full family owned music shop in the country, I believe, fully family owned.
Yeah.
It's an institution. It's famous. I mean, I remember when I was a kid in Guitar Player magazine. I remember seeing Rock and Robin ads and Robin guitar ads, and then I came down here. I didn't even make the connection that it was down here. I was just driving down Shepherd one time, and I was like, "Holy fuck, it's here!"
Wow,
no way. And then you go and you're like, "No way."
And you see the inventory, and you understand why he has been around so long.
Yeah, I mean, it's part guitar shop, part museum.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
No doubt, and part needs to be commended for not only hanging on, but really taking care of the gang down there. And it's a joy to see you in there because we've been through a lot. We've had some good guys in there and some not so good guys, but
right.
I'll say it again. They have the best now, and I cannot recommend your shows highly enough. You've just got to go see if you have a love for true country music and you've got a love for great songwriting and just shit hot band. I don't care I don't care. I've never seen you play with a dog. I've never seen you. I've never seen you mail it in. I'm a fan. We're fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, it's got to be the right vibe with the right people. That's like I said, always. It's got to be. It's just kind of. It just kind of. You just kind of gravitate towards each other. I think. And then the sound locks in, and then you don't have to think about any of the bullshit. You just start rocking.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. Well, you have it down, and you're our number one call when we're in need of it. We have to call now a year in advance because we know your schedule. But I cannot thank you enough for setting our board up, which is still every setting is the exact same as when you left it. So
Perfect.
That's not out of laziness, by the way. That's out of
Technology. Click save. Yeah, perfect. No, man, absolutely. I always love working with you guys.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen again, and like I said, we do have to get Eric out of here. We've got Eric's got a little deal he's got to make later, and that's him patting. No, but we're so grateful. We're so grateful to have you on.
For Christ's sake, you can't say that when you know I'm going to go. For God,
marker.
Don't worry, I got you covered.
Damn it! But yeah, and like I said,
we crossed Eric's line finally,
and we're back.
When it comes to my own marker that shit.
What happened to all that?
That's fine because I don't know those people. I don't know those people. Yeah, we gotta just a little separation. That's all. A little separation.
All right.
Little separation.
But Luba, we love you, son.
Yes, sir.
Cannot wait to see you live again, and we're gonna post all your links and whatnot. But man, thank you for coming on, and we're just happy to have another Houston legend.
Oh man, thank you so much. I mean, I know we've been trying to plan this for a while, so I'm glad we could do this. And like I said, one of my favorite bands, Blaggards, abso-fucking-lutely.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.